Hello and welcome back. Holy cow, there were so many manga sales I literally had to break it down into sections. So without further ado, let's start with section number one. And this is some of the older sales because I started on April 1st. I might have missed. So anyway, these are just like late March sales. So here we go. Here's a Demon Slayer number one, first printing, BGS 9.8. Dust Jacket only 9.2 and no Obi. Was listed for $60,000. Did not go for $60,000, but it did go for $15,000 US. You're going to find a trend here in that there's a lot of high listing for manga. People just putting out huge numbers for the listing and then accepting a much lower offer, but still, you know, like 15 grand is 15 grand. Now, speaking of that, we had Neon Genesis, Volume 1, first print, listing for $20,000, BGS 9.6. It went for $15,000, so much closer to asking price. Speaking of huge cultural phenomena, here's again an older one that went from April 4th. I missed this one the first time. Pocket Monsters listed for $10K. Actually went for $3,500, so $3,500 in a BGS 4.5. So that's it for, a few that I missed that are really notable. The next one up is English manga. I don't want to neglect the English manga and light novel sales, as it were. So let's get started with that. Alright, first up is Battle Angel Alita Last Order, Volume 17. This one was $650. They lowered it down to $260 and got the sale. Next up we have Baccano, Volume 6, English light novel. As I said before, these Baccano light novels go for big dollars. This one's no different, $400 US. This one isn't a light novel. It's actually Blackjack Volume 13, went for $200 US. Another light novel, Durara, Volume 8, $225. This is the English light novel. This is a rare sale. 5-star stories, manga in English, Toys Press, way back when. This is the whole kit and caboodle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The whole thing went for like $650 US. That's actually a really good price. Here's an oldie but a goodie. This is Bio Booster Armor Guyver Heart of Kronos, $199. And finally, I couldn't help but bring these ones up. Mysterious Girlfriend X, published by 7 Seas, has been like crazy valuable. So here we have a Volume 1, went for $250. Next up, we have a Volume 6, went for $180, which makes this a complete series sale that went for $600 for Volumes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Seemed like an incredibly good bargain at this point. All right, that will conclude it for the English section. I have to create like an entire One Piece section. There was just that many sales. It was crazy. Okay, let's jump into everything One Piece here, and there was a lot. Like, this is literally a week's worth of One Piece sales that has to get its own section. Let's start with the classic. Number one, first printing from 1997. This is a BGS 6.5, went for $1,825. That was an auction. Next up, we have One Piece number 9, again, first printing from 1999. Was listed for $2,400. In this particular listing, they accepted $1,200. BGS 9.6, One Piece Volume 15, first printing, so that's a really good grade. Has the Obi, $750. A One Piece Volume 16 from 2000, first printing, BGS 9.8, was listed for $2,000. And they accepted $1,200. As I said, there's a lot of high listings, basically accepting offers, but that's still $1,200. One Piece 24, 2002, first print, again has the Obi, was listed for $999. This one sold for literally about half price, $500. BGS 9.8 One Piece number 30, first printing 2003, was listed for $1,700, sold for $750 US. BGS 9.8 One Piece 43, 2006, first printing, listed for $1,600, sold for $700 US, or accepted the offer for $700. Next up, BGS 9.8 One Piece, Volume 41 from 2006, first printing with the Obi, was listed for $1,600. They took $900. One Piece Volume 52, BGS 9.6 with Obi, first printing, straight out sold for $360. BGS 9.8 One Piece number 52, first printing from 2008, listed for $1,500. Sold for $600. One Piece 53, BGS 9.8, first printing 2009, listed for $1,500, sold for $850. One Piece 59, 2010, first printing, BGS 9.8, listed for $2,400, sold for $1,100. BGS 9.8, One Piece Volume 61, from 2011, the first printing, listed for $1,900, sold for $900. One Piece 63, 2011, first printing, BGS 9.8, listed for $1,400, sold for $800. One Piece 69, first printing from 2013 in a BGS 9.8, listed for $1,400, sold for $700. One Piece 77, first printing with the Obi, listed in BGS 9.8, listed for $1,300, sold for $800. This is a BGS 9.8 One Piece 103, first printing with Obi, listed for $1,000. This one sold for $850. BGS 9.6 One Piece 106, first printing, literally just sold for $220. So even very recent high-grade One Piece volumes are still going for good money. Finally, we have One Piece short stories by Ichiro Oda. This is first edition, listed for $250. This one sold for $225. What's interesting, you can see there is one that sold on March 15th for like $33. I haven't seen that Heroines 9.8 go yet, but that'll be interesting when it does. Next, I want to get to some of the actual Shonen Jump magazine sales. Yeah, there's some big prices going there too. I also wanted to note, it's interesting, you can actually order the Japanese Shonen Jump through Amazon.jp, and it's not so much the magazines themselves that are expensive. 300 yen is not bad. It's the 5,300 yen for shipping, which is about 33 bucks. So, but anyway, let's go to some of the actual sales. Here we have Shonen Jump 14 from 1998. This is the first appearance of Hunter x Hunter. It was listed at $1,999, and it sold for $1,500, which is actually more than the Hunter x Hunter manga from back then. Shonen Jump 36 from 1997. First appearance of Zoro, even though Zoro One Piece is not on the cover, $566.75. This was an auction. This just goes to show you that One Piece wasn't a huge phenomenon when it first came out. It wasn't even still making all the covers. It took a lot of dedication from Oda to pump out a lot of One Piece before it became the global phenomenon we all know. Here's another testament to that. It's a Weekly Shonen Jump 1997-42, Chapter 8, first appearance of Nami. This one went for $428.48. Again, was an auction with 29 bids. Shonen Jump 43 from 1999, first Naruto. This is a big one, but it's only a BGS 3.5. It was listed for 49,000 Australian dollars. Seller took an offer for 21,963 Australian dollars, which is about $15,700 US currently. For a BGS 3.5 anything, that is huge, huge money. If this thing ever came in like a 992, it'd be really interesting to see what kind of dollars that would fetch. And finally, a classic, and boy, this is one I'd love to have too, to be honest. This is BGS 5.0, first chapter of City Hunter from Weekly Shonen Jump 1985, number 13. Goodbye at $800. Finally, with all those out of the way, let's just get to the regular manga sales. We'll start off with Bleach number 1. This is a BGS 7.5. Went for $799.99. Next up, we have a Cowboy Bebop Volume 1 First Edition, BGS 8.5. Again, at auction, $910 Canadian. That's about $660 US. Same book, just a lower grade, Cowboy Bebop Volume 1 First Printing, BGS 6.5 with dust jacket. This one, again, at auction, $305 US. Dragon Ball number 1, first edition, 1985, sold for $1,068.99. From the image, it doesn't look like a really strong grade. I can tell from the top, like it's kind of chewed up and dented a lot. So this is not a high grade Dragon Ball number 1, but still, it's a Dragon Ball number 1 first edition. Dragon Ball number 2, BGS 6.0, first printing, $299.99, so we'll call it $300. Dragon Ball 26, first edition. This one is a much better grade than the other Dragon Balls. It's a 9.4 BGS, $400. Dragon Ball number 30, first printing, BGS 9.4, another good grade, $360. And to round out the Dragon Balls, we had a BGS 8.5, Dragon Ball 33, first printing. This one went for $250. Here's one I haven't seen yet. This is actually a Death Note Volume 1 first print, BGS 9.2. This is from back in 2004. Was listed for $1,100 and sold for $920. Here we have a Demon Slayer number 1. First printing, BGS 7.0 without the Obi. Went for $800 US. Here's some classics. Fist of the North Star from 1984, Volume 1, First Edition. We had one recently go for $360. We had another one went for April 4th for $400. A lot of this just comes down to perceived condition, examining the photos. As I was mentioning about the Hunter x Hunter and that crazy Shonen Jump sale, the Raw manga from 1998 usually goes for about $185, so much cheaper than the Shonen Jump actually. Jujutsu Kaisen, first printing Volume 1, BGS 9.8, $350. And this one's been going crazy lately. This is Kagurabachi Volume 1 from 2024, first printing. This is the Raw manga, $650 with the Obi. It's the same thing, but this time it's a BGS 9.8. It actually went cheaper than the Raw. This one's about $605 US. BGS 9.8. Are you noticing something missing though? It's the Obi. Like 605 is nothing to scoff at for a 2024 book, but no Obi. The Raw actually went for more money. I'd never seen this one before, but it just intrigued me. So this is Katsuhiro Otomo. This is his Domo Deluxe Edition Japanese manga art book in special case. I'm very familiar with Domo. $9,999. Wow. Still getting a lot of Naruto first edition sales. This one went for $469 for the manga. This one only went for $299, but again, the condition does look a little rougher than the previous one. This was a BGS 7.5 with the dust jacket. This one actually sold for $960. I was wondering when these graded ones would come on the market. So here we have Pocket Monsters Special number 1, BGS 4.5 Altered. Actually went for $1,495. This was an auction, 54 bids, does have the Obi. Another sentimental favorite, BGS 9.0 Yu-Gi-Oh! Volume 32. So this is from 2003, first print. This one actually went straight out sale for 650 bucks. Again, it looks like it has the OB as well. Okay, these are just my final thoughts. Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong or anything, but I honestly believe we're seeing a shift from comic collecting from west to east. That doesn't mean, there's still a ton of valuable Western comics, but it's just amazing to me, like now that they have the BGS for manga and the Zashi with the Shonen Jump. Um, those are some crazy values. I mean, yes, there was a lot of best offers accepted for the One Piece because there's no census out yet. It's so new. Nobody's exactly sure what they should price their One Piece at, so they're just kind of like putting out a crazy high number, and then if they get like a really good number, it's like, sure, I'll take that. But yeah, as we get more and more of these, we'll get a census, and you don't know how many 9/8 One Piece like Volume 63 is out there, or anything like that. But it's just overall like these are some high numbers, and there's lots of them too. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts right now. It's interesting to look at, and it's not, as I said before, it's not all manga by any stretch. It's primarily the shonen manga that's really appreciated in this collector's market. So always fascinating to look at. And yeah, thanks again for watching. Talk to you later. Bye bye.